pronation is exactly how we learned it previously. All right, it gets a little confusing, but again, if you're supinating, so arm is at your side, your action is supination, so that gives me a 3. Can you do that? If you can do that, it's a 3. We don't often want them to come just from here, because technically gravity could just let your hand fall open. See what I'm saying? So you really want to come from all the way here, because then that's strength and then that kind of just falls. Right? So again, that's a 3, right? If we think about 2, and we don't do 2 with this much, the book shows you kind of having in this position, because again, there's no gravity involved there. You could easily just do it down at the side as well. That would be a 2. Again, we don't mess around with 2. There's not a lot of impact of gravity here. But again, if we're resisting, so we're wanting him to supinate, so we're going to pronate. Remember, this is where we got that lumbrical type grip. Stay right there. Where I'm going to be here, I'm going to try to pronate him, and he's going to hold against me. So we're pulling him over. Or, if he's got a clear wrist and hand, we can be in this position and try to turn him over. So don't let me turn it this way. All right? So that's your 4 or 5. Again, we've talked about palpation. So when we do that, if he's doing supination, we're going to come off the lateral epicondyle, right? That's where my supination. So if he turns it over, I'm going to see if I feel that muscle contraction there. So that would be a 1. All right? Opposite of that, it would be pronation. Again, we start him in full supination. If he can turn it over, that's a 3, right? Bring it back there. I'm going to try to force him into supination. He's going to try to go into pronation. That takes his pronation strength. Again, that's a 4 or 5. Or
so when you do the 4 or 5, you don't have to have them in supination. You can have them in between.
Neutral's a good spot there,
Okay.
yeah. And then here, right? And again, neutral is a good spot. Why? Because that's where the length-tension relationship is greatest, right? If I put him all the way here, he's probably going to be weak. If I put him all the way here, he's probably going to be weak, right?
During the practical, though, you said grade 4 or 5 were like.
Well, it's really the
just
same.
gonna
You're just pressing and they're holding. Like, I'm not going to tell you to determine if they're 4 or 5.
Okay.
Just
That's what I
understand
thought you
that 4 has some give, 5 has no give. But I'm not going to have your partner try to match something that. Now, again, if you remember back on some of those others, like the serratus is a good example, you'll have to tell me a little bit what you're feeling for a difference between a 4 and a 5. Because there's a visible difference, a visible give on those. But in something like this, I'm not going to say, was he a 4 or a 5 there? You know, most of us should be 5 in most scenarios for us. All right. So that was pronation and supination.